So I have been in the mood lately to start knitting because the weather's getting a little colder and overcast, and I just kind of feel like knitting sometimes when that happens. But I found my knitting needle case, and it smelled like cat pee, and it wasn't a case that I could like really wash. So I ended up having to throw the case away. And as I was browsing knitting needle cases, I saw ones that kind of roll up, and they looked remarkably like a Hussif, and I've already made a Hussif. So a knitting needle case is basically just a larger Hussif. So I decided to make a knitting needle case with fabrics remaining that are just kind of like little pieces that I would have to figure out what to do with, but I'm going to make these into a knitting needle case Hussif thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get these fabrics ready, figure out how big I want to make it, and get started. So because my candy corn fabric was the largest piece of fabric that I have to work with for this, I went ahead and cut up the edges and straightened it up, and this will be the front or the inner and the outer layer. So it'll be like this, and then we'll be making pockets all along it. And then yeah, so I took my longest needle that I found and I made sure it would hold that so they won't be poking out. And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I don't really need to cut this edge. I think I could just keep it folded. But I'm going to start working on the pockets. So one of the pockets will be taller, and then my longer knitting needles will go in those, and then I'll have another pocket that goes along here. And then I think I'm going to do like 3 layers of pockets. I think that's my plan. I am using this piece as the tallest pocket, and I don't have enough material to make one big piece for the second pocket, so what I've had to do so far is I've sewed these 2 pieces of fabric together, and then I have this strip that I'm also going to sew on so that it'll be about this tall when sewn together, and then I will be making one more pocket for smaller hooks and knitting needles. So this one pocket will be made from 3 pieces of fabric just to get it to the size that I want it. now that I have all of the pieces of fabric cut out or pieced together, I am going to hem the top of each pocket so that it'll be nice and clean and it won't fray. So I'm going to hem this, this, and this, and all of the edges of around the whole thing will be I'm going to sew on bias binding, so then those edges will all be nice and finished. So I'm going to go ahead and work on hemming the top of these. So I now have all of the edges sewn together, and now all I have to do is make little smaller pockets from these pockets. So I'm going to be sewing vertical lines down to make those little pockets. I'm going to go ahead and start that.